Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about sink and float. Sink means that something goes to the bottom of the water, and float means that it stays right on top. Right on top. All right, so have you ever been in a swimming pool and you're laying on a tube and you're on top of the water? That's floating. You are floating when you are on the top in the pool. But when you throw something down and it goes all the way to the bottom of the swimming pool, that sinks. That's when something sinks down to the bottom. Just like I have here in my little pictures. All right, so today we are going to look at different items in my basket, and we're gonna see what sinks and what floats. I'm going to put the items here where they go, just like you're gonna do after this video. All right, so let's start with the first thing. The first thing I have here is a die. If you have two of them, they're called dice, but with one, it's called a die. Do you think this will sink to the bottom or float on top? Let's find out. What happened? Is it sinking or floating? It is floating. It's floating. How awesome. It is floating. There it goes. Oh, got stuck to the side. All right, so I'm gonna dry that off. You might wanna have a towel, paper towel or something with you. So this is gonna go under sink, okay? It's gonna go under sink. I mean float, I'm sorry, float. All right, so let's do our next thing. I'm gonna kind of move that there. Okay, next we have a cup. It's a paper cup. It's a paper cup. Nothing's in there. Do you think this paper cup will sink or float? Let's see. What did it do? It is floating, just like the die. It's floating on top. All right, let's dry it. And let's put it right here with float. Okay, next we have, what is this? It is a block. A block. Do you think this block will sink or float? Let's try it. Ready? Uh-oh. Oh. What is it doing? Did it sink to the bottom? It kind of got me there. I thought it was going to sink, but did it? If you look here, it is not touching the bottom. It's not touching the bottom. You see my fingers touching the bottom. I can put my hand underneath it. So it is what? It is floating. It is floating. It is heavy, but it's still floating. Let's give it some, let's dry it up. So float. Oh my goodness. All right, let's try something else. Let's see. What is this? A pencil, a pencil. Do you think this pencil is gonna sink or float? Let's see. What did it do? It is floating. It is floating. So we're gonna clean our pencil off and we're gonna put it under float. Oh, there we go. All right. What is this? It is a bottle of glue. Do you think the bottle of glue is going to sink or float? You ready? What did it do? It is floating. It's floating. Why do you think it's floating? All right, here's another one for float. I'm gonna lay it down. We have a lot of stuff. All right, let's try our next thing. What is this? Does anybody know what this is? You might not know what this is. This is a magnet, and we talked about magnets last week. And here's a paper clip. It sticks to it. Remember, we looked at things that were magnetic and not magnetic? So do you think this magnet is going to float? I'm sorry, float or sink? Let's see. Whoa, right away. What did it do? It sunk to the bottom. It's all the way at the bottom. That's our first thing to sink. Everything else has been floating so far. Wow. All right, so let's put this under sink. Okay. Let's find something else. Ooh, what are these? What are these? These are scissors. Scissors. Do you think these scissors will sink or will they float? Let's see. Whoa, what did they do? They sunk to the bottom. They sunk all the way down. All right. I wonder why these scissors sunk to the bottom. We're gonna put them under sink. All right, here we have a little bear counter. A little bear counter. Where do you think this bear's gonna go? You think he's gonna float at the top or you think he's gonna sink to the bottom? Let's see. What is he doing? He is floating on top, floating. All right. Float. All right, next we have an eraser. An eraser. Do you think this eraser will float or sink? Let's see. What did it do? It sunk to the bottom. It sunk. Oh, another one for sink. There we go, right there. All right, next we have a crayon. A crayon. Do you think the crayon is going to sink or float? What did it do? It is floating. It is floating. Awesome. So we'll put it under float. All right. I have this cube here. Do you think this cube is going to sink or float? Oh, what is it doing? It is floating. It is floating. All right. Now, last we have a marker. A marker. Now, do you think this marker is going to sink or float? What did it do? It's floating. Floating. All right, so those are all of our items. I'm gonna put it under float here. We have a lot of things under float. It's so full. All right, so I'm gonna show you a picture of everything that floats and everything that's sunk. Let's see, let me try to put it to where you can see all the items. All right. So there are the items. These are the items that sink, and these are the items that float. All right. So now it's your turn. I want you to, you and your mom or dad to make a chart just like this. and you are going to find items in your house that sink and items in your house that float. But I want you to just get a whole bunch of items, and I want you to try this out. You can try it out in your sink, your bathtub, wherever you can put water in. Your pool maybe, but with your parents. Make sure your parents are there. Don't play with water without your parents. All right, so you just fill something with water, and you're just gonna find items, and you're gonna put them in the water. Then you're gonna put them on the chart. If they sink on this side, if they float on this side. Then you're gonna take a picture of it and upload it to Seesaw. Have fun.